Hey everybody, welcome to Lessons with Troy. Well, in today's lesson, I wanted to go over this lap steel bender chord chart in open D tuning, D-A-D, F-sharp A-D, either for the Duesenberg benders or if you have a lap steel that uses maybe like say the Sertano benders that I just recently found out about, made by David Sertano. This chord chart can work for you too, as long as you're in open D tuning. So I wanted to make something that was relatively clear that shows you what all the different chords are that you can get using these benders, at least the ones that I've found so far. So let's go ahead and start. And I'm just going to go through each little part of this diagram, kind of explain it to you so that hopefully it makes sense to you. So first off, up here we have our fret numbers, 0 to 12. Keep in mind that for that pedal steel sound, if you wanted to play higher, that would be 12 to 24. So whatever fret you might want to play on and make that an octave higher, just add 12 to it. That's a real easy way. So say you're on your 5th fret, this G chord here, and you wanted to play an octave up, add 12 to 5, that's fret 17, that'd be way up here. Right? So those are your frets. Here's your string numbers. Keeping in mind the thickest string is string 6. This is string 6 going all the way up to our thinnest string, string 1. Okay, and this shows what the benders do. So let's talk about that for just a second. The second string bender, when you are going to be using this in the chart, notice this tells you what bender or benders to use, or maybe no benders, like in this row. This shows you, okay, I'm going to be pushing down on the second string bender. Notice how it's green and circled red with the arrow pointing at it. And that's going to take that A note and make it a B. So this A string, or second string, moves it up a whole step, A up to B. And then when you use your third string bender down there in the chart, it'll look like this, right? And that's this string, our F sharp string right here. And that's moving that F sharp up to a G, so up a half step basically, making it sound like it would be on your first fret if you were just barring it. So this second string bender takes this string up a whole step, like you would be playing like that, but you're using your bender. This third string moves it up a half step, only use your bender. Okay, so let's go ahead. So right here's just where we're going to start. No benders, playing any of your 6 strings gives you all of these chords. Notice that the natural notes, meaning no sharps or flats, are real big. I wanted those to stand out from the sharps or flats so that you can kind of see where the half steps fall naturally. B and C, E and F, right next to each other. So if you want to take D and move it up a half step, that's either a D sharp, or it's also an E flat, because E moved down a half step, or 1 fret, is E flat. So that's what these sharps mean. And notice the red vertical lines go to whatever fret you're going to be playing on down this whole row. So for example, let's go to our 5th fret right here, that G. So 5th fret G, and then if we go straight down right here, C, if we play, it says play strings 1 and 2 using just our second string bender. Sounds like this to play this little partial C chord, right? Sometimes I like to do that slow bend like a pedal steel, maybe add the volume pedal to that. You want to have that sound more pedal steel or a little bit higher, add 12 to 5, do that on your 17th fret. There's 17, there's fret 5. Right? And that can work for a C chord. Let's think about that for just a second, right? So G moving to C. What is C in the key of G? C is our 4 chord in the key of G, right? In the key of G, you've got basically 3 major chords. You've got G, C, and D. Well, this is a real easy way to get our G chord open on our 5th fret, basically strummed open, or any double stop or whatever that we're playing on our 5th fret, add that 2nd string bender, right? Play strings 1 and 2, gives you a real easy C chord. Move that up 2 frets to fret 7. You've got our D chord right there. Okay. Same thing if we are, okay, look at fret 12. See how fret 12 we have a G chord with that 2nd string bender, right? Because G is the 4 chord of the key of D. So we've got G here, and then we could play C. Let's look here. We've got C and then D there. So G, C, D, or here, G, C, D. So that's what I do a lot is, you know, say we're here on our 12th fret. Here's a G chord. First and 2nd string with my 2nd string bender, right? And then just do an open meaning no benders on that 10th fret for our C chord. And there's our D chord or G chord here. Add that 2nd string bender, play strings 1 and 2, easy C chord, move that up to D. Or if we ever wanted to go C and maybe slide C up to a different inversion of C. Same thing, D, slide up to D with no benders. So D with your 2nd string bender, and then as you slide up to D open, it gives you a different inversion of that. All this can be played also, add 12 to 5, and you can start playing this in different octaves, right? There's G, C, D, G, slide G up to 17 for the inversion. Now, notice how these are the exact same chords as this row, right? Well, this is just a thicker way of getting the same chords. Basically, we're using both benders. Sounds like this. Here's G, and we're just going to play strings 4, 3, 2, and 1, right? And then push both benders down. That G chord here, push both benders down, gives us a real thick C chord. Same thing for D. Now keep in mind, you can roll in to have your bender, like your 3rd string bender down, like this. And roll into that C chord, right? Roll into that 2nd string bender, giving us our C chord, our 4 chord in the key of G, right? So that's a real pedal steel kind of sound. Do that up an octave on fret 17. And that gives us still a C chord, but up an octave, fret 17. Okay, so let's keep going here. So still playing that 2nd string bender. These are some various other chords you can get. Notice how we're playing in this row the exact same thing. 2nd string bender, strings 4, 3, 2, and 1. We go here, 2nd string bender, strings 4, 3, 2, and 1. But depending on what the bass is doing and how we think about the chord, really, we are getting different kinds of chords. We can either get an E minor chord, or the same notes that's in an E minor chord is also in a G6 chord. So whether you want that minor sound, if you know a minor comes up, let's say on your, you know, you want to play that 6 chord. This is the minor 6 chord in the key of G, right? Play that E minor. And as you can tell, that also has that Hawaiian sound. 6 chords sound Western swing, Hawaiian music, use them a lot. Depending on what kind of sound you're wanting, you got all these 6 chords at your disposal just using that 2nd string bender, or you've got all these minor chords using the 2nd string bender. Now, you don't have to play all these notes, don't have to play them all at the same time. You can do just a double stop, just be playing that 1st and 2nd string, or maybe arpeggiate through those, you know, like that, or just play that, or just play a little part of it. Okay, so moving on to this row, Now we get into our third string bender, and this is going to give us what's called sus chords, suspended chords. And just like you suspend something in the air, it wants to come back to the ground, right? It doesn't like to be held up in suspension forever, right? It wants to come back down. So that's what I think about the sound of a suspended chord. For example, on our 5th fret, this G sus 4, that means we're actually, that third string bender is bending this third string. This would be the third of our chord, right? This B note, it's bending that up to the C note, which is the 4th of our scale or the chord. See how that wants to resolve? Just like that. Once it's suspended, G sus, and it resolves that 4th of the chord, that note up here. It's basically bending that note here up to the 6th fret, let's say, or the sound of that. Like instead of it's bending it there, that note wants to fall back down to that major third. That's what that suspension sounds like it wants to do. So here's all your different suspended chords using that third string bender. Now another neat way is to just use the third string bender and think about it as a partial, like you're on your way to push down both benders, let's say, but that gives you this, what's like your 4 chord, but a sus2 version of that 4 chord. So if you're, let's say, wanting to get a cool C sounding chord instead of playing C up here on your 10th fret, right, that would be this C. And you want maybe more of that U2 sound, or a kind of cool folky sound that's not jazzy, but just, that sus2 kind of, that's this note. That is right, isn't it? Let me see. D, say we do it open. That's D, F sharp, A, D. So we do that. Third string bender that brings that F sharp up to a G. So we got D, G, A, which A is the 2nd of our scale in the key of G, because you want to base it off of whatever chord you're getting. So yeah, that should be a G sus2 chord. So when you do that, it brings A up to B. So that sus2 resolves to up to the 3rd. Right? That's that sound that you're hearing there. Say we're in the key of G, that C sus2, the 2 wants to resolve up to the 3rd. Right? That would be D resolving to the note E, yeah. But it's kind of a neat way of just, say we go from C. Sliding from that C down to the both benders, but you can just roll into that bender, hearing that C sus2 first, and then the 2 resolves to the, as I said, the E note. So anyways, there's my chart. I hope it makes sense to you. I think I explained most all this. So yeah, hope it helps you to understand the Duesenberg or your lap steel, like I said, with other brands of benders that you might be using. And thanks for watching this. And be sure, if you want to have a printable version of this, go to lwtstreaming.com. And that lesson is available there for purchase. Okay, we will talk to you later, and have a good one.